Morning YouTube, morning. It's Thursday morning, and as a follow-up to Top 10 Tuesday from this week, as soon as I did it on 3D movies, thought I would do this little video now, because finally got John Carter 3D. Had to wait since its release to be able to buy it because it's been so expensive. I haven't seen it in 2D even, so just gonna give this a whirl. It's in 235 240, which means I will have to stretch the image, but I will give it a fair and unbiased opinion review. All I've seen is the 10 minutes Disney put out on YouTube of the intro to the movie, which everyone has seen. That's all I've seen. I've not seen any clips, possibly the trailer. Like with the film The Tree of Life, I had to wait a whole year or more for that to become cheap enough for me to buy. Exactly the same with this. I had to wait absolute an age to see this. I have absolutely no expectations of it whatsoever. I don't, because it hasn't had as many positive as it has negative, but I don't believe the negative or the crap it's got. I really don't believe it. Movies in 3D for a kick-off look different to when you watch them in 2D. Completely different. Yeah, if you'll know what I mean if you watch 3D movies. They're not different movies, but you see them differently, you watch them differently. They are watched differently, yeah? That's why I wanted to see it for myself in 3D. I don't know if it was filmed in 3D or converted, I don't know. I really have no bias at all when it comes to this movie. But as I say, with The Tree of Life, I wanted to see that for ages, and I finally did. The same with this. Now, I'm going to give it a watch now. And my review will be here. Two things to say really about John Carter 3D. Two things. Number one, Avatar. Number two, ghosting. Right. The first point, Avatar. When it was first released, I say use past tense because it's been out for that long. I read reviews online about this movie, and occasionally I'd read where it was mentioned, if you've seen Avatar, then you've seen it all, basically, in regards to the special effects. And I just thought, at the time I was reading those comments, those types of comments, I thought, just what do they know, kind of thing. Because it's obviously not Avatar. It's just obviously not Avatar. But now I've seen it, I know exactly specifically what those reviewers would have been saying. It's in regards to its screenplay, I think. It's blatantly Avatar. whether it's had less money spent on it, or whether it's had it's not as extravagant as Avatar. Let's put it that way. Let's see. In regards to that, the Avatar bit, it even ends blatantly as Avatar ends. It's got so many blatant nods to Avatar in regards to its structure. Yeah, it's not in regards to it's not special effects, because the special effects look different. The ships, the flying ships as such, they look completely different to the ones you see on Avatar. But it's basically etc. Basically, if you've seen Avatar, then you've seen John Carter of Mars, John Carter. Rather than having a blue tone like Avatar had, it was all blue, the palette was blue, based around the colour blue, which you see on the Blu-ray case. It's based around the orange-red rust colour of the planet Mars. Basically, that is it. John Carter in a nutshell. It's Avatar on Mars. Instead of Sam Worthington, you've got this dude here, what's his name? Kitsch in it. Tyler Kitsch or something. Taylor Kitsch, yeah. Taylor Kitsch. Now I've seen this, and now I know exactly what those reviewers were saying. Not many reviews had that specific comment in them, but I remember picking up on the specific ones which did say it. Because as I say, it struck me. I thought, how can you just dismiss a whole movie by saying that tiny little comment? If you've seen Avatar, you know. But you have. That's what it is. I'd like to hear from people who have seen John Carter, or John Carter fans of the books, or whatever else it stems from. Your feedback on that. Were you offended by that? If you liked the movie, were you offended by the fact that it had such negative praise? Yeah, okay, that's the first point. It's Avatar similarity. It's overall similarity to Avatar. Yeah, and the second point I raised was ghosting. To be honest with you, why on earth are 3D movies made? Do people make 3D movies? Why on earth are they made? Why on earth do people make them where they have dark scenes, whether nighttime or daytime, just dark scenes which aren't lit, if you know what I mean? Now, okay, I'll divulge further there. In the movie, because that encourages ghosting in the 3D effects, yeah? In regards to the 3D effects. No matter how good your television is, your 3D television is the equipment you play it on. I believe in the cinemas as well you get ghosting. You still get ghosting in dark, in dimly lit scenes. I was going on to say there, in movies like The Great Gatsby, the 3D version of Great Gatsby, well, The Great Gatsby, the recent Gatsby movie, they had plenty of dimly lit scenes, but they were tactfully lit, whether it be by clever lighting or with moonlight. And the movie Legends of the Guardians, Alza Gahul, there were plenty of the dimly lit scenes in them, and they again were tactfully lit, and the filmmakers were obviously thinking ahead in regards to how it was going to look in its 3D form, both in the cinema and on its home media release. So why on earth did John Carter, was this movie made with like a good 7, 8 minutes, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, the finale basically, yeah, when he's still on Mars. It's all in, it happens to be night time. It's all dimly lit, without any kind of like fashioning with lighting, like I mentioned the Gatsby and Legends Guardians did. Why? Why on earth? Because it just encourages ghosting on the 3D version. It just looks, ghosting, it just looks horrible in 3D. The ghosting effect in 3D looks horrible, right? Completely takes you out of it. It makes you just want to simply get your remote control and turn the 3D off. Yeah, that's what it does. I mentioned in my top 10 Tuesday, recent top 10 Tuesday 3D, that the Harry Potter Part 2 had ghastly ghosting in it, and that's what I meant. Yeah, that's got nighttime scenes as well. That's got dimly lit scenes in that as well, where Harry Potter's in the forest just before he gets killed by what's his name? Yeah, and where he uses the resurrection stone to bring back his family, his parents, and whoever is close to him who's been killed at that point, and they come back in form, surround him. And that's the scene in which I mentioned in that movie, where there's terrible ghosting, ghastly ghosting, because it's not lit. In Legends of the Guardians or Great Gatsby, for example, like I mentioned those two films, they would have handled that with moonlight effects or with fashioning lighting, like artistic license type lighting, foreseeing how it would look in 3D, both in the cinema on its disc, yeah. So you get me there in regards to that, how and the point I'm making about why are 3D movies made with unlit scenes in them. No excuse, millions, no excuse whether it's been, no excuse if it wasn't filmed in 3D, no excuse because most of the 3D movies you get now aren't filmed in 3D. I just don't understand, because if it wasn't for the fact that this movie has said dimly lit scenes, the ghosting in, the 3D is actually alright on this. Yeah, even in its stretched form, it's actually alright. It's not as quickly edited as some of the stuff you get in Avatar, so you can see it. And in regards to its home disc, yeah, it's actually alright. The green tall dudes with the forearms, wonderfully detailed CG, and it looks great in 3D. It's really well done, the 3D. It's like, it's not difficult to see it, yeah. When I say you can see the 3D, yeah, it's the fact that it's not difficult to see, i.e. it's not, how can I explain it? To see 3D, you tend to, if you know this already, then forgive me. To see 3D, you really have to stay focused on what you're watching rather than looking at it. Yeah? That's why you tend to get both versions, the Blu-ray and 3D on two different discs, yeah? And that's why your televisions can down convert 3D discs to 2D, because for each version you watch them differently. If you watch the 3D version like you watch a standard Blu-ray version, then you won't see the 3D or your eyes will get sore. To enjoy watching a 3D movie on Blu-ray, you have to actually look where the director wants you to look, i.e. in the character's eyes, or where the plot's taking you, yeah, specifically. If something's happening over there, then you look over there to see the 3D as it's going on, and if it's over here, you look over here. And you've got to do it naturally as well, right? It's tough, otherwise you won't see 3D, or not as well, and or your eyes will get really tired. That's where the imperfection in regards to home 3D comes into it. Not a lot of people are buying into it, because it takes a bit of effort to actually get into it to be able to stomach 3D on the home media. But once you get used to it, it's great, wonderful. Give your eyes a rest after 10-15 minutes, look down at your laptop for a little while, refocus on something in 2D, then put your glasses back on, or come out, make a cup of tea, go back in and carry on watching it. Yeah, it's great. I actually enjoy it. I think I'm getting money's worth out of what I've spent on my equipment. Time, hang on. Yeah, I've got about another 5 minutes. What I was going to say. As regards to the story, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, right? I can't follow these type of fantasy films to save my life. I just can't. I've not read the books. I didn't read any of the hype when it was first released at all about what the potential punter was going to be in for. I know nothing about John Carter, its legacy, its history. These kind of fantasy films, I just have the volume on low because I can't follow them to save my bloody life. And I don't know why that is, whether it's because they're just so fantastical or they just don't make any sense. I don't know. And to be honest with you, I just stop wasting my time listening to movies like this. But in regards to its 3D and its disc, it's great. It's actually, apart from the ghostly bit I was mentioning before, where it had a ghostly section of 5-6 minutes where the disc suffers ghosting, it's fine. I wouldn't have put it in my top 10. It wouldn't have made my top 10. It's not. It wouldn't have made my top 10. It wouldn't have even made the 3, which didn't make my top 10. Because I've got plenty more 3D movies out there which didn't even make me 3, which didn't make the top 10. Yeah, what else to say? Don't know what else to say about it, really. That's about it. Oh God, I'm sure I had something else to say. I'm sure I did. Yeah, I was mentioning about the green dudes with the 4 arms, haven't I? Oh, that's right, yeah. More about the graphics, yeah. I think the design of it, the graphics work great. That's right. I can imagine it would look bad on DVD, yeah, or in non-3D form. I'm aware of how much little time I've got left on my card there. I can imagine it would look bad in 2D, because when I would come out for a cup of tea, I'd turn the television off and I'd turn it down to 2D, just to whip back in. And it looked cartoonish, like animation. You could see the animation effect, if you like, aspect to it when it was in its 2D form, and when I'd go back out with my cuppa, I'd turn the 3D back on, it would look fine again. I just thought I'd make that comment. I'm made up, I've remembered to say that, because I was thinking that when I was watching it, how it might look bad in 2D or on DVD. But in regards to its 3D form on Blu-ray, it's fine. If you can get this for under £8 sterling, sounds super duper. And you get 2 discs, you get it on both Blu-ray and Blu-ray 3D, which means the 2D version of the Blu-ray is not aspect ratio locked. Okay, I'm going to quit. Well, I've still got time in the card. Hope you've enjoyed that, my little look back at that. That was just in regards to my take on the top 10. It happened to be 3D, just thought I'd follow on with this. What they arrived in the post today. Hope you enjoyed that. Over and out.